I want you to think about a promise. A promise that was made to you when you were young, ambitious, and just beginning your working life. Work hard, they said. Save consistently, they said. Trust the system, they said. Contribute to your 401k, buy a house, pay your taxes, follow the rules, and at the end of it all, after 40 years of your most valuable hours, your most productive decades, your most energetic years, you will be rewarded with a comfortable, secure, and dignified retirement. That was the promise. That was the deal. And for millions of Americans who kept their end of the bargain completely, who worked hard, saved faithfully, and followed every rule they were given, retirement has revealed something devastating. The other side of that deal was never real. The promise was a lie. And today I am going to show you exactly who told it, exactly why they told it, and exactly what it has cost you. The retirement system in America was not designed by accident. It was not assembled carelessly by well-meaning policymakers who simply failed to anticipate the consequences of their decisions. It was deliberately engineered piece by piece, decade by decade, by a specific set of financial interests who understood exactly what they were building and exactly who would benefit from it. And the answer to who would benefit was never you. It was never the worker who spent 40 years contributing faithfully to the system. Understanding who actually designed this system and what they actually designed it to do is the most important and most uncomfortable financial education any American retiree can receive. The modern American retirement system was fundamentally reshaped in 1978 when Congress added a small and largely unnoticed provision to the tax code section 401k. This provision was originally intended as a supplemental benefit for highly compensated executives and was never designed as the primary retirement savings vehicle for the entire American workforce. But within a decade, the financial services industry had recognized the extraordinary profit opportunity embedded in this provision and had systematically lobbied, marketed, and maneuvered to transform it from a supplemental executive benefit into the primary retirement savings mechanism for 150 million American workers. The shift from defined benefit pension plans where employers bore the investment risk and guaranteed a specific monthly retirement income to defined contribution 401k plans where employees bear all investment risk and receive whatever their account balance produces was not a neutral policy evolution. It was a massive and deliberate transfer of financial risk from corporations and their shareholders onto individual workers. The corporations saved enormous amounts by eliminating pension obligations. The financial services industry gained access to trillions of dollars in assets under management, generating billions in annual fee income. Wall Street created an entire ecosystem of products, advisors, and intermediaries generating extraordinary profits from managing the retirement savings of workers who had no realistic alternative. The workers got what was left, which was a system that required them to make sophisticated long-term investment decisions with no professional training, subjected their retirement security to the full volatility of financial markets they did not control, charged them fees that compound invisibly over decades to consume a devastating portion of their returns, and then, after 40 years of faithful participation, delivered retirement incomes that for the majority of Americans fall significantly short of what the defined benefit pension system they replaced had reliably provided. This was not an accident. The financial industry knew exactly what it was building. They hired the lobbyists. They funded the research. They ran the advertising campaigns. They trained the financial advisors who went into workplaces across America and explained the new system to workers who trusted that the people explaining it had their best interests at heart. They did not have your best interests at heart. They had their shareholders' best interests at heart. And the retirement reality millions of Americans are living today is the direct consequence of that fundamental conflict of interest that was built into the system from the very beginning. The system was designed to serve the wrong people. But in Chapter 2, I want to expose the specific lies, not the system design, but the actual statements, the actual promises, the actual advice that were told to working Americans for decades, and that have now been exposed by the retirement reality most people are living. When I use the word lie, I want to be precise about what I mean. I am not talking about innocent mistakes made by well-meaning people who simply turned out to be wrong. I am talking about specific, repeated, systematic statements made to American workers over multiple decades by people and institutions who had access to the data, who knew the research, and who had strong financial incentives to say what they said, regardless of whether it was true. Here are the 5 most damaging retirement lies that were told to the American workforce and the evidence that shows they were never honest. Retirement lie number 1 is that the stock market reliably delivers 7 to 8% average annual returns that make long-term investing in 401k plans a guaranteed path to retirement security. This statement is technically true as a long-term historical average and catastrophically misleading as retirement planning guidance, because it ignores the single most important variable in retirement investing, experiences significant negative returns in the first 5 years of retirement while withdrawing from their portfolio, suffers permanent, irreversible damage to their retirement wealth that the long-term average return never corrects. The financial industry knew about sequence of returns risk for decades. They continued marketing average returns as if sequence did not matter, because the simple message sold products and the complex truth would have frightened customers away from the fee-generating accounts the industry needed them to fund. Retirement lie number 2 is that financial advisors recommend products and strategies in your best interest. For the majority of American financial advisors throughout the past 4 decades, this was not legally true. The suitability standard that governed most financial advice, as opposed to the fiduciary standard, required advisors to recommend products that were merely suitable for a client, not products that were in the client's best financial interest. This legal distinction allowed advisors to recommend higher fee products that generated larger commissions over lower fee alternatives that would have served the client better, and to do so entirely within the law, while clients reasonably assumed they were receiving advice designed for their benefit. Retirement lie number 3 is that your home is your best investment and will always appreciate in value, creating wealth that supplements your retirement savings. The 2008 housing crisis exposed the devastating falseness of this promise for millions of Americans who had been encouraged to treat home equity as retirement savings. Homes are consumption goods that occasionally appreciate. They are not investment assets in the same sense as diversified financial portfolios. The Americans who were encouraged to invest in oversized homes rather than maximize retirement account contributions paid for that advice with their retirement security. Retirement lie number 4 is that Social Security will always be there for you exactly as promised. For decades, financial planners, government officials, and retirement educators told American workers to plan their retirement around Social Security benefits, as if those benefits were constitutionally guaranteed and financially sustainable in perpetuity. The Social Security trustees have reported for years that without legislative changes, the program faces the prospect of benefit reductions within the current retirement horizon of workers who are today in their 40s and 50s. Retirement lie number 5 is the most insidious. You can start saving for retirement later. There will be time to catch up. The financial industry said this through every medium available to them, because people who had not yet started saving were prospects, and people who recognized the urgency of early saving were already customers. The mathematical reality of compound growth means that every year of delayed retirement saving in your 20s and 30s costs multiples of what that year of saving would have produced. The industry knew this. They said, start later anyway. 5 lies. Each one designed to serve someone else's financial interest at the direct expense of your retirement security. In Chapter 3, I want to show you the human cost, the real lives behind the statistics of what these lies have actually done to the Americans who believed them. Statistics are comfortable. Statistics are distant. Statistics let you hear about a problem without feeling it. So I am not going to give you statistics in this chapter. I am going to describe real retirement realities that are happening to real Americans right now. Realities that are the direct consequence of following the advice, believing the promises, and trusting the system that was sold to them as the path to retirement security. Because the retirement lie is not an abstract policy failure. It is being paid for in real human suffering by real people who deserved better. Right now in America, there is a 68-year-old woman who worked as a school administrator for 32 years. She contributed to her 403(b) faithfully every paycheck. She bought a house when advisors told her home ownership was the cornerstone of financial security. She claimed Social Security at 62 because a financial advisor told her it was better to take the certain money rather than wait. She is living on $2,100 per month in a country where that amount covers housing and food and nothing else. She is not an outlier. She is the median. There is a 71-year-old man who worked in manufacturing for 38 years. His company terminated its pension plan in 2003 and converted to a 401k. He was given a financial education seminar by a plan provider who happened to sell the investment options he was offered. He invested conservatively because the 2008 crash terrified him. His account never recovered to what it would have been under the pension plan it replaced. He is selling the home he has lived in for 30 years because the monthly carrying costs can no longer be managed on his Social Security and modest portfolio withdrawals combined. There is a 74-year-old couple who did almost everything right by the standards they were given. They saved consistently. They owned a home. They had $700,000 in retirement accounts at 65. One spouse was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 70. 4 years of memory care at $115,000 per year has consumed $460,000 of their retirement savings. The surviving spouse has $240,000 remaining and 15 years of statistical life expectancy ahead. The retirement system had no answer for this. It still does not. These are not exceptional cases. They are not dramatic outliers selected to make a statistical argument feel emotional. They are representative samples of what the retirement lie looks like when it is fully lived. When the promises collide with the reality and the gap between the two is measured not in percentage points, but in human dignity, in medical decisions made on financial grounds rather than clinical ones, in grandchildren's birthdays celebrated with cards instead of presents because the gas money is not there, in the specific, quiet shame of needing help after a lifetime of independence. The retirement lie has a human face. It has 1 million human faces, and every single one of them deserved better than what the system that was sold to them actually delivered. The human cost is real, and it is enormous. But in Chapter 4, I want to move from anger to understanding, because knowing who benefited from the lie and exactly how much they profited from it is essential information for anyone who wants to protect themselves from the parts of the lie that are still being told right now. Every lie has a beneficiary. Every system that fails the people it claims to serve succeeds at serving someone else. And the retirement lie that has failed tens of millions of American workers over the past 4 decades has been spectacularly successful at generating wealth, just not for the people who were told they were building it. In this chapter, I am going to follow the money. I am going to show you exactly where the retirement savings of American workers have been flowing for 40 years. And the amounts are going to make you angry in a way that is completely appropriate given what those dollars represent. The American retirement savings system manages approximately $35 trillion in assets across all retirement account types. This number is so large it is almost impossible to comprehend. But what makes it meaningful in the context of the retirement lie is understanding what percentage of that $35 trillion is consumed every year by the financial services industry before a single dollar reaches the retirement account of a single American worker. The average expense ratio across all mutual funds held in American retirement accounts, weighted by assets, runs at approximately 0.5 to 0.8% per year. That sounds trivially small. On $35 trillion of assets, it represents between $175 billion and $280 billion per year, flowing from American retirement savings into the financial services industry. Every year, without exception. Regardless of whether the market went up or down, regardless of whether the fund managers added any value, regardless of whether the American workers whose money is being managed are on track for the retirement they were promised, or falling decades behind it. Over a 30-year career, the fee drag on a typical American worker's retirement account, the difference between what their account actually grew to and what it would have grown to in a zero-fee index fund, commonly runs between $80,000 and $250,000 depending on account size and specific fee levels. That is money that came directly out of the retirement security of the worker and flowed directly into the profit margins of financial services companies whose executives are compensated in the tens of millions of dollars annually. The financial advisory industry earned approximately $130 billion in revenue in 2023 from American clients. The insurance industry earned tens of billions more from annuity products sold to retirement savers. The real estate industry earned billions from the promotion of home ownership as a primary retirement strategy. Every single one of these revenue streams was funded either directly or indirectly by the retirement savings of American workers, who were told they were being served by the experts collecting those fees. The retirement system did not fail by accident. It succeeded brilliantly at its actual purpose, concentrating an extraordinary amount of wealth in the hands of financial intermediaries while maintaining the narrative that it existed to serve the workers whose savings funded it. The profit trail is clear, and it is damning. But in the final chapter, I refuse to leave you with only anger, because the most powerful response to a lie is not outrage. It is knowledge, strategy, and the specific actions that protect your retirement from the parts of the system that are still working against you right now. Everything in this video has been designed to make you angry, not because anger is the goal, but because appropriate anger at a system that has demonstrably failed the people it claimed to serve is the correct emotional response to the evidence. Comfortable acceptance of a broken system is not wisdom, it is compliance. And compliance with a broken system is the most expensive financial choice any American retiree can make. So yes, be angry, but then do something with that anger. Because the retirement lie is not over. Parts of it are still being told to you right now, and knowing how to identify and reject those parts is the most valuable financial skill you can develop for the retirement years ahead. The antidote to the retirement lie is not cynicism. Cynicism is passive and expensive. The antidote is aggressive, informed self-advocacy applied systematically to every financial relationship, every financial product, and every financial decision in your retirement life. Here is exactly what that looks like in practice. The first protective action is eliminating every financial advisor relationship that is not governed by a fiduciary standard requiring your advisor to act legally and demonstrably in your best financial interest at all times. Ask every financial professional who advises you one direct question. Are you a fiduciary? And are you required to act in my best interest legally at all times? If the answer is anything other than a clear and unqualified yes, the relationship is potentially costing you money through conflicts of interest that are entirely legal, but entirely misaligned with your retirement security. Seek out fee-only fiduciary advisors who are compensated exclusively by you, not by commissions on the products they recommend. The second protective action is calculating the total lifetime fee cost of every investment product you currently own. Find the expense ratio of every fund in your retirement accounts. Go to a compound growth calculator and calculate what your account balance would be in 20 years at your current fee level versus the same return at 0.05%. The expense ratio of the lowest cost total market index funds available today. The difference is The amount the retirement lie is currently extracting from your account every year. Move to low-cost index funds immediately and without hesitation. The third protective action is building your Social Security optimization strategy around the most current research rather than the conventional wisdom that has been passed down through decades of financial advice that served the industry's interest in simplicity over the worker's interest in maximizing lifetime benefits. Social Security optimization for a married couple is genuinely complex, and the difference between an optimized strategy and a default strategy can exceed $150,000 in lifetime benefits. The fourth protective action is the most fundamental. Stop trusting systems and start trusting verified mathematics. Every financial product you own and every financial strategy you follow should be evaluated not on the basis of who is recommending it or how reputable the institution offering it appears to be, but on the basis of what the specific verifiable numbers show about its true cost, its true expected return, and its true alignment with your specific retirement goals. The retirement lie was told to you for decades. You did not deserve it, but you are here now with the truth, and the truth, applied consistently, urgently, and without the comfortable deference to authority that made the lie so effective for so long, is enough to protect everything you still have and build everything you still need. Stop being lied to. Start demanding the truth. Your retirement depends on it. If this video made you angry enough to change something about your retirement plan, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel because every week we tell you the retirement truth that the financial industry spends billions of dollars trying to prevent you from hearing. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of the 5 retirement lies hit closest to home for you? I read every single comment and I want to know what you have experienced personally. And share this video with every working American you care about, because the lie is still being told, and the people who need this warning most are the ones who have not heard it yet.